Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 32 of the Greatest Century to Resolve. Last time, we did some more cross-examining, and we discovered that there was a fourth balloon that wasn't supposed to be at the scene of the experiment gone wrong. And now we're going to delve into more detail about it. It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
Si, therefore pressure. Seeing the view, we're getting to a faster base. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. Say, I know nothing, niente! I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine!
Objection! There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing.
See, the competition's trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that was going wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell on the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection! This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly has nothing to do with the case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
Really? Have we really gotten to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's more. There's always something more. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Guts may well be hiding one more vital clue. Watch this. A vital clue.
Objection. We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove?
The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of an explosion. Yeah, that's right! Yeah! It was not my fault!
Evidently, because the birdcage and the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection! No, that's not what happened.
What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see, and what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests that the real reason the balloon exploded is the laser beam.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice that there's a bright white line that appears to be pointed directly at the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can't see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright light really is.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes?
Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it could have been a finer day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
About the fire and driving the balloon like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you serious that this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd! The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at that time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height!
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that this particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how exactly that happened.
What evidence? If such evidence exists, counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
Okay. Just want to make sure. Yes, this is a crossbow of sorts. Can we now examine our crossbow of might? There's some sort of lever here. What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. This groove here must be where arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's sort of a bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyoto archery training.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil until light could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used deliberately?
Blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, done it? Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside.
No! No! I will not let you keep Albert out of jail! I have to take him down! He will not haunt my nightmares anymore! Order, counsel! This is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge! Of course!
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyways too. I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponiese friend? You're saying that Albert created a crossbow and destroyed a balloon from the sky?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued, what? Wait a minute. What you're really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness me!
Now I understand. That's what the sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was accidentally concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous! What you described as no science experiment? It's child's play! A contemptible display of stage magic!
Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception.
Juror number 3?
All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman. And having this other man appear on the stage to front the show as a body double. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything in it inside would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would have ever embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would have very much depended on the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4?
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio.
Obviously, the victim's body would have still suffered some burns, but that would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
I hate this courtroom. I hate these juries nowadays.
So everything that has happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of this experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. And then watch how Harebrained, he just comes out of nowhere. I will ruin your entire argument! I only get an objection line, Mr. Naruto. I appreciate your efforts, thank you. But I am here to ruin your life once again. Professor? You can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please, as I've ruined this entire case for you. I will prosecute myself. Sorry?
What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained? Oh God, where's my hallowed bottle? Where's my hallowed bottle? Because I feel I am going to need a strong drink to get through this one.
I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Asman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver!
What? What are you doing? Order! Mr. Fender, explain this on confession. Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about?
It's what I said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would be all over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans of the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me... Baroque!
Yes? Oh god.
And I just give over to Baroque, to Van Zeeks, who's basically just already sitting from his hallowed chalice. He's just glugging it down like Godo does with his coffee. I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please, enjoy the special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation.
Chalice time! Like I said, Albert, you're the reason I drink at 11 in the morning. Ray, forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. I need it. I will pour hallowed chalice. I will give hallowed chalices and hallowed wine to everyone in this courtroom as compensation for having to do with Albert. Here's to my learned devotee's friend.
What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental to the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis is preserved. Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on the matter?
What Professor Hairbrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request and see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Mr. Naruto! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. Well, it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? The defense asserts that the defendant's in today's case was in fact... No! I can't say it! My client's places faith in me! I can't just let him down! What must I give up on now? Is not the question you have to ask yourself. It's what I can protect. I'm sorry. Hello again, Mr. Naruto. It's been far too long. Susato-san? But what are you? Hiya! My first Susato takedown in 6 months. There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruto. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Hairbrain. Yes! Susato, take him down! Show him what real instantaneous transport kinesis is. And then Susato just grabs Hairbrain and she just chucks him out of the courtroom, just sends him flying to the ceiling. Hairbrain's blasting off again! Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. That's the truth behind that is what we must... the truth behind that is what we both must pursue now.
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
But Barack! Lord Van Zeeks. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I remember that is of relevance. What? That the human head weighs 8 pounds. Did you know that? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me and thinner than me, with straighter hair and whiter than mine. And he looked like some sort of robot. He looked like a tick-tock clock robot. Let me see, one less lens than me too, a monocle, and a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
What?
He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He looks like a tick-tock robot. Enoch Drebber?
Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not today, my scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination. He looks like a tick-tock robot.
Not today, any conjurer wishes to hear either.
Who on earth is he? I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I've heard of them resorting to these underhanded tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician, yes. We're dealing with an unbridled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion? Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want this to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. When I announced my invention to the crowd that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know. The whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, the court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical. Yes, Mr. Drebber. Gather information about the man, if possible. I should like him served with a subpoena. With pleasure, my lord. Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord?
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Mr. Naruto! Ah, yes? Yeah, I'm so sorry! I was wrong, you were right, I tricked you, you trusted me, I dragged you into my mess! Oh, how do you ever come to this? Well, we'll answer that in the next episode. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever that you want. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.